What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. I'm chilling out here in my backyard. It's a fucking beautiful day out here in Austin. And we just went into lockdown as a city last night. So pretty much what I was doing anyways, but now it's just official. But yeah, you want to check out my yard? Not the worst place to be locked down, I would suppose. So, here we are. I don't have a particular topic I wanted to talk to you guys about today, but I did want to just mention that, you know, during this time, there's going to be feelings that go up and down. And you're going to sometimes feel enthusiastic and fired up and creative and inspired and ready to go. And sometimes you're going to feel a little down and a little depressed. And that's all good. Like, it's all good to feel anxious or scared or sad or any of that. Like, let those emotions come. And I think the mastery is not in preventing those emotions from coming, but actually accepting them as just part of this situation and this existence that we have. They're there no matter what's going on. And in a situation like this, where the macro collective is in, you know, such states of concern and worry and fear, it's going to be natural for us to find ourselves in those similar states as well. So just have some love and patience and compassion for yourself. So, all right. Feel anxious if you leave the house. Yeah, I mean, I get that. You know, I get that. There's a lot of information that's going around. I mean, it just depends on which sources you look at. But we'll see. You know, I think there's so much unknown. It's just really hard to guess what's really happening right now. Doing some BSY TV in a bit. Dope. Do I ever take a day off when I'm feeling uninspired? I do. Yeah, I did that on Saturday, and worked out, had some wine, like just enjoyed my day Saturday, and then knew that I would just get right back at it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the rest of the week. So sometimes I do. Just let it go. What are my biggest goals left? Well, I got a lot of other books to write, and I think you know, those are some big things to do. But there's so many opportunities. You know, I'm excited about just everything that's possible right now. On it should get in the CBD game. Are you a mind reader? Or did you not? Because we just launched our CBD today. So yeah, we have a product called Total Hemp that just launched today. Brian Wentworth. So check it out. I wrote about it. I actually did a read for it on my podcast, and I'll be talking about it more. Put a shirt on. It's outside, Wayne. It's fucking hot out here. It's Texas. Thanks, y'all. Show us your pool again. My pool. Riff on using this time to rebuild oneself, given it's a great opportunity to hunker down. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of ways that you can rebuild. You can rebuild the body, you can rebuild the psyche, you can rebuild your emotions. You know, if you're going to rebuild the psyche, the most important thing is to be the witness of it and find acceptance for all of those disparate parts of yourself, those parts that you might have exiled, those parts that you might have judged, and find ways to come into reconciliation and peace with all of those aspects of yourself, but not identify with them. So be the observer of all your emotions and all of your thoughts, rather than being your thoughts. Because if you are your thoughts, you know, you can't solve a problem at the same level it was created, like Einstein said. So you can't battle your own thoughts when you're identified with your thoughts. You have to identify yourself as a witness. So that's a good way to practice rebuilding. Meditation obviously is super helpful for that. Rebuilding your body, you know, just looking at where your weaknesses are. You know, what are you really looking to do? Is your weakness strength? Is your weakness weight management? Is your weakness flexibility? Do you have some, like myself, what I should be doing, which I'm not, but I'm going to start, is I have, limited hip mobility, because I have a certain rotational pattern where everything kind of rotates one way, from like throwing a ball to serving a tennis racket. Everything is kind of rotated one way. So I need to like counter rotate my hips to get back in balance. So that needs to happen at some point. Let's see. Top 10 book list. I have book reviews on my website, and that's probably my top 10. So go to aubreymarcus.com, check out my book reviews. Had a breakup by text on day 1 of isolation. Well, that's rude. I mean, if you're in isolation, you might as well fucking call somebody. I mean, what else you got to do? You're in a hurry? So I'm sorry, brother or sister. Looks like brother. Yeah, I mean, but you know what? If that's the way it's going to go down, it's the way it's going to go down. And, you can't allow that stuff to affect you. So, and as you said, focusing on your fitness and throwing that energy into movement and getting that kind of stale energy moving. I mean, I think that's a key strategy that all of us can employ for sure. What is my role with On It now? Yeah, I'm the chairman of the board, and I'm in every product development meeting, and I check in with the CEO almost every day, usually every other day at the very least, and just see how things are going. We have a really good relationship. So, yeah, still very much apart. How's the second book coming along? Could be better. I hope my publisher's not listening. It's going fine. Like I need some more work to do on it. But nonetheless, it's all going well. Am I still celibate? No, I am not. I'm curious about, that practice. I don't know if there's still some value in that for me. Obviously, it didn't last very long last time. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not celibate now. What's up, Teresa? How you doing? Good to see you on here, if you're still on here. What is the best immune defense supplement for this time? I think it's the zinc lozenges, honestly. I mean, I love the On It stuff. I think those are super important, getting your, the mushroom immunity through Shroom Tech Immune and the Virotech, which has the vitamin C, the lysine, alpha lipoic acid, all of those. Those are like the baselines, but really, I think zinc is just incredibly effective, and then copper as well. But I have that video on my YouTube about all that stuff as well. Write a poetry book. Yeah, I'm gonna. I promised NQ that, and you'll hear me promising that on the podcast that I released with him on April 1st. On It Serial never came through. Not yet. Let's see. Am I doing anything new, different to stress reduction right now, given the craziness? A lot more Wim Hof breathing, like way more Wim Hof breathing. So that's definitely one of the things that I've added. Do I miss all the social interactions? I miss some of them for sure. Work is less efficient. I really did enjoy my little team meetings, because I have a little team that works on my podcast and works on my videos and works on all my stuff. I miss doing that. Yeah, I mean, as far as the big parties and the big events and stuff like that, not so much. I mean, I'm in writing mode anyway, so the writer's life is really kind of like self-isolation anyways. It's kind of like quarantine life anyways. Do I ever regret leaving On It? No, I don't. It was the right choice. It was the right time. Yeah, been talking to Paul Check a bunch. Do I feel that government is unnecessary? No, I don't feel that government is unnecessary. I feel that they sometimes overstep their bounds and sometimes make bad choices, but I think we need some form of government. How often do I exercise? Every day, some way in every day, whether that's just swimming a couple laps in the pool or moving my body. It's rarely a day that'll go by that I don't do something. But I don't feel like I have to go through a full workout every day. Let's see. Don't shit on yourself. Good wisdom from my man Ted Decker. I talked to Ted for like an hour and a half yesterday. It was amazing. Can we get a bicep flex? Maybe not today. Somebody else wants a flex. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Seems a little weird. Maybe I will, though. Who knows? What have I found is the most powerful practices of self-love? I think Naval Ravikant knocked it out of the park with what he was talking about in his book, Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It, and what we talked about on our podcast. So I would definitely check that out, Jenny. Let's see. You think time in the darkness or an ayahuasca ceremony would work for those of us who are unable to consciously visualize? Absolutely. I mean, the darkness would be, incredibly powerful because the visions would be coming from yourself. Ayahuasca, both of these things are medicines you should really be called towards. But the darkness is really special because you'll know that, the visions are coming from you. And I think that's why it's so powerful, is that you're not taking any other substance. It's just the visions are coming out of your own brain. Where would I begin with plant medicine? Probably like a low dose of mushrooms with, so maybe like a gram, like 1 gram of mushrooms with a guide, with somebody who is like really familiar with the landscape and knew the strain of mushrooms and understood it. I think that would be probably a good place to start if you're interested in plant medicine. But again, that's only if you're called to it. It's not for everybody. What am I using this time to focus on? Writing. Am I 100% healed from my car accident? Well, I have some dead teeth. So eventually I'm going to have to either get like a gold grill or something. Yeah, that's because they're turning black. So that's not going to look good. I'm going to look like a fucking pirate. Do I still have a stake on it? Of course, it's still the owner. What do you think will happen positively from the mindset of people from this? Well, I think this is shining a light. It's shining a mirror on our collective response to crisis and our individual response to crisis. So anytime we get to look in the mirror at that, I think it's an opportunity for us to awaken to what's really happening inside ourselves. And I think that's going to be the opportunity that we all have. Some of us are going to take it. Some of us are just going to, drink and Pornhub our way through and like not really get anything out of it. And all of that's fine. Like whatever choices people make. But I think the invitation is to really look at what this is causing inside ourselves, and how we feel. In my opinion, while the virus is the catalyst for this, the real part of this whole story is going to be told through the isolation and then the economic disruptions and things. And that's, one of the reasons I'm glad I was able to release the podcast with Seth Godin today, just because it's just straight on the money, talking about how we can make money ourselves without having to be attached to any system. I mean, he's like the freelance expert of the world, really. And we didn't record it when we knew this, this whole thing was going down, but it's absolutely like the most applicable podcast for anybody looking to like make money on their own, and talking about the limitations for that. Me and Eric Godsey also put out a free ebook and free video kind of like mini course called Rise of the Indepreneur. So that's available too for anybody who's curious or struggling with potentially making money. So you can get that at aubreymarcus.com/income if you're interested in that. When am I going to play the flute? I don't know. Sometime. But thanks for asking. I will do that. I'll have like a music podcast. Do I have a favorite poet? Yeah, I think it's got to be Rumi. It's got to be Rumi or Hafez. I really like the Sufi poets. they seem to be capturing. I used to like the more romantic poets, but the Sufi poets now are really who speak to me the most. What do I think of Shilajit? Do I think there's enough zinc in it? No, there's not enough zinc in it, but I think Shilajit is great. It has a ton of micronutrients and minerals, so that's awesome. Favorite guilty pleasure? I don't know. I don't feel a lot of guilt over my pleasures. I mean, it's like, I guess like a warm chocolate chip cookie. If I decide I'm going to eat that, like with full sugar, I like, because I usually eat like keto cookies or other cookies just because I feel better. But I will eat the fuck out of a warm chocolate chip cookie. What does my go-to playlist or artist recommend on your previous post? I forget the name. I would need more information about what I was referring to. Have I had any recent conversations with Paul Selig and the guides? I talked to Paul, but just Paul, not the guides. I think he might still be in Costa Rica, or he's just trying to figure out where to weather out the storm. But I haven't talked to the guides. But I did get Galley, which is an advanced copy of his new book called Alchemy. So I'm excited to read that. It started last night. Psychedelics while quarantined. Any thoughts on safe solo trips? And keep crushing it, brother. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go on a solo journey, you really want to keep the dose level low. Like, you want to make sure that you're not pushing yourself into a situation where you're going to freak out. So, minimum effective dose in a really comfortable environment with medicine that you're really familiar with. This is not the time to push the dose. So, just chill. Ant books poetry on Mondays. Yeah, I think we'll get those back up. I'm thinking about Ant minis too, like just different ways to share information. If I could tell someone who wants to follow in my footsteps one piece of advice, what would it be and why? Just constantly do interesting things, constantly do things that challenge yourself. I mean, so many of the opportunities that I've gotten in my life was from my willingness to put myself in uncomfortable situations. It's one of the reasons why Joe Rogan and I became friends, which was integral to the part of On It. One of the reasons why Bodie Miller and I became friends, which was also integral to the founding of On It. It was because, they had both pushed themselves into challenging places and done interesting things, and so had I, so we had common ground. And I think, that's what's going to allow you to be around the people in your community that can really support you to have the kind of growth that you're looking for. What insights has Paul Selig given me? Well, he really talks about this in the form of our interaction with fear. And, that's really the way that he and the guides are looking at it. Is just like I was saying, is that this is a mirror to see what our reaction to fear looks like. What's up, Carlos? Anyone eating loads on lockdown? Is that like a sexual question? I'm imagining that means a high quantity. More people wanting a flex. Flex. There it is. Done. Game over. All right. Have I been to Mexico? All the time. Tulum. I love going to Tulum. I love going to Cabo. Lots of places like that. Intense reoccurring dreams. I think dreams are kind of a way for the mind to decompress and defrag, and also to explore thoughts that you're not willing to think in your conscious mind. So, I think that's a good way to look at it, is like what are the thoughts that you're unaware of? How is the subconscious trying to speak to you? Like what are the things that you haven't, fully allowed? What open loops do you still have in your brain? So that's really what I think about dreams. And so if it's recurring, there's something that you're not looking at. There's some way in which you're not really aware of this subterranean concept that you really need to give some attention to. How do you set an intention? You just fucking set it, man. Just set it. Happy new moon. Love you too. Do I work out for vanity purposes or for health and wellness? I work out to be fit, really. I mean, the thing is, the biggest benefit to me now is that I realized a long time ago that actually, like, the reason to work out for vanity is that you assume that it's going to make a difference with the opposite sex. But I mean, there's such a wide range where it doesn't really matter. Like, when I consider myself out of shape or when I consider myself in shape, like, the response is no different. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all the same. So you realize that, and then it's like, okay, so why am I training? And the thing that I enjoy the most is I love playing sports. You know, like when, you know, my friend Colin wants to talk shit to me about playing pickleball at his new pickleball court, you know, I'm like, all right, well, let's fucking go. You know, and I want to make sure that I can move. Obviously, that sport requires a lot of movement and a lot of cardio. Or like Peter Crone wanted to play tennis. Like, I want to be able to fucking play tennis with Peter. Or I want to, you know, if Eric Godzi ever gets his back well enough to play me basketball again, I want to go in there and play him some hoop. I want to go out and play volleyball and, you know, spike it on Wyatt's head. That's why I love doing that. Like, that's something I love doing. So I just try to keep myself in the kind of conditioning that I can do anything like that I want to. Am I vegan? No, I am not. But I'm trying to be what is actually called a humanitarian. So only eating meat and animal products from humanely raised sources. So like all grass-fed, grass-finished beef and dairy. And I just feel way better when I do that. And in quarantine, it's actually really easy. I got some great grass-fed beef and beef organs from Grassland Meats, and some stuff from Butcher Box, some stuff from a hunting trip, and so that's really what I'm eating right now. Let's see. Top 3 Aubrey Marcus podcasts to listen to at this moment. I would listen to the Jordan Peterson podcast. I would listen to the Peter Crone podcast, and I would listen to the Kamal Ravikant podcast right now. You're welcome, Leah Amber, for the podcast release today. Yeah, it's an important one. Anybody, you know, who's worried about their finances or curious about their financial state, like, today is the day to listen to the podcast that I released with Seth Godin and Eric Godzi. How much stock do I put in everything happens for a reason? That's an interesting question. I think we can make a reason for anything, really. So it's like, it's up to us to create the reason. So this thing happened, and then it's up to us to how we respond to it. So whether it happened for a reason, we can only tell in hindsight, right? Because it depends on the actions we take. So that's the way I really look at it. Favorite restaurant spot here in Austin. I love Uchiko. I love Red Ash. I love ATX Cocina. Those are probably it. The black and white Jaguar painting I have, that's from the Shipibo that I got down at Spirit Quest Sanctuary. Have I watched the Last Shaman doc on Netflix? No, I haven't. That'd be interesting. Do I believe in the soul? Well, there's lots of definitions of the soul, but I've felt what I would call my soul, and so it's not whether I believe in it. It's I know it. I know my soul. So it's not believing. Max all-time bench press. What a broy question. I like it. I think the 365 was my max. And then I think I was able to get 6 or 7 reps with 315 when I was doing that. Is On It open? It is. Well, not actually like the gym. The gym's closed, but shipping is open. Most important or meaningful tattoo? Well, definitely this one. Well, and also my grandma. I don't know if you can see shit right now, but I have my grandma on my left arm, and then I have the symbol of Don Howard, my late spiritual mentor, on my right arm. What else? People asking me if I'm an introvert. I don't really know if I believe in introvert, extrovert. Those are like big categories. Sometimes I'm one, sometimes I'm the other. I don't think people fit into boxes. I don't think people fit into horoscope boxes. I don't think people fit into other boxes. I think you are just a unique person. And whenever you try to put someone with a label, it doesn't really fit. Leave your current doctor and go to Dr. Conover. I mean, Dr. Conover is fucking amazing. So if you have the chance to work with Dr. Conover, I would. On my podcast with Matt Hussey, I touched based on an ability that love is the ability to let go. Can you break that down more? Well, I think when you try to hold on too tight, that's fear, right? Like if you're trying to grab something too tight, that means you're afraid that the love is going to go away. So if you're afraid, there is no fear in love. So any way that you're holding on too tight is a way that you're not actually loving. So you really have to surrender your fear to really love. Because if you're afraid, you're not going to really love. And, I think that's something that polyamory taught me. It taught me how to let go. But I think it's also going to be one of those situations that's naturally going to incite more fear. So it's going to be like a mirror to all of your fears and insecurities, which is just like this situation that's going on right now globally. It's going to be a mirror for us to look at. But you don't want to, in my mind, I don't want to stay in this situation of quarantine forever. I don't want to look in the same mirror. And I don't think it's going to be valuable for me to continue to look in the polyamory mirror for longer either. That's why, as I look toward the future, I'm looking and more interested in, a single partnership, just because I want to release as much fear as possible. And I think I'm able to do that now because of my experience in polyamory. So if I was going to write a book on polyamory, it would be why polyamory doesn't work, but you should try it anyways. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't think it works for most people. Some people it does, and absolutely it's like a viable long-term path, and I get that. But I think the most valuable thing is that you do it for long enough that you can understand yourself and understand that nature, and then learn all the lessons, and then from there get to a place where you can really release fear to the greatest possible ability that you can. So at least that's my perspective on it. But I've talked to some people who really seem to be making it work. Most of the people, are really having a tough time with it, and I think that's the point, is to have a tough time with it. But I could see it being a long-term viable solution. It just takes. Here's the thing. I wasn't planning on talking about relationship, but the thing that I really believe that is, if you want to make a polyamorous relationship work, you have to sacrifice in its entirety your privacy. You cannot have the privacy of thought, privacy of your journal, or privacy of your phone, or privacy of communication. I think you have to be so radically vulnerable and transparent that you share absolutely everything. And that's the only way to mitigate fear, because anything that's hidden, when that hidden thing becomes revealed, it's going to be terrifying, shocking, traumatic. So in order to really make that work, I think, if I was going to do it again, that would be the rules. It'd be all right, our phones are open, our journals are open, our thoughts are open, our feelings are open, and if we can't cope with it, we can't cope with it, but this is the only way we're going to ride, and we're going to ride with the most radical truth that we could possibly ride with, which is the complete sacrifice of the privacy of our own thoughts. And I think that's really the way that you make it work, at least in my opinion. But what the fuck do I know? All right, y'all. I think we did it. We did the damn thing. How bad is Corona hitting Austin right now? Not so bad. Not so bad. Is Barry's hog responsible for the coronavirus? Hey, Aaron. No, Barry's hog is going to cure the coronavirus. If you don't know what Barry's hog is, I'm sure you do actually know what Barry's hog is. Let's see. A max 225 reps. Yep, done that too. Used to get in the 30s for those. How do you get an unknown podcast traction right now? Just put it out. Put it out in every way that you can. You know, message people, talk to them about it, put it out through all your socials. I mean, everything. When am I going to kiss a dude and get over it? Get over what? Get over my straightness? I'm not gonna get over my straightness. I'm actually straight. But I don't care if I kiss a dude. It's not going to change that fact. The hat is tilted to block the sun. Oh, Barry's on. Casey, I see you. What else? All right, we made it. Winners, what up? Good to see you on here. All right, y'all. I love you. You guys are the best. Thanks for a great call today. And yeah, I'll save this so you can rewatch it. So much love to you guys. Oh, tomorrow I'm on with Nako, and I'll be on with Nako at 5 o'clock. So that's going to be 5 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. It's going to be starting on his Insta, and then I'll be calling in to that. So Nako is a musician, and I'm really looking forward to that call. So I will be on live, and I'll promote that, and I'll talk to you guys then. Much love, fam.